Dan, we got some breaking news coming out of France. Yes, France again, obviously remembering the situation that happened over the weekend in Mulhouse as an attack was happening on police officers. And it is being reported this morning, just outside Paris, that a knifeman has been shot dead by police in Paris after he reportedly ran at cops in complete silence with a blade in each hand. Guys, we're going to be going through the breaking news with regard to this story coming out of Paris, but as always, do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get involved in the live chat. I'll be taking your reaction momentarily. But yeah, this is the story that we know thus far. The suspect has said to have thrown himself at officers in Dugny, 7 miles from Paris city centre this morning. An investigation source revealed the details around the said standoff. They said that a man was sitting at a bus stop with a knife in each hand. When police turned up, he ran towards them without saying a word. One of the officers then used an electric stun gun but failed to control the crazed man. Another officer then quickly opened fire with his pistol and hit the suspect in the chest. There were attempts to revive the man, but he was declared dead at the scene. An investigation has currently immediately been launched in the Saint-Dien Territorial Security Service, as well as the National Police General Inspectorate. Police and forensics were seen at the site of the man's death earlier today. This, of course, does follow on from the incident that happened in the country at the weekend, when French police, several police officers, were targeted in a horror terrorist attack which left one dead in the city of Mulhouse. The stabbing spree was reportedly carried out by a known terror suspect who shouted Allah Akbar as he stormed through a busy market square. So again, today there has been yet another incident which has seen an individual target French police officers, but thankfully none of these, or there is no deaths apart from, of course, the perpetrator who is shot dead by police at the scene. But still, crazy stuff. An individual with 2 knives, 1 knife in each hand, had gone on and attacked police officers yet again, and thankfully for their quick reaction, no one was hurt in this incident. The police officers are fine, but the perpetrator in this suspected terror attack has, of course, been killed. Now, again, this is just yet another incident that's occurring across the continent of Europe, and again now in France. I mean, France, they seem to have a massive issues with these individuals, of course, targeting police officers. And again, just outside Paris here today, with regard to this one. My goodness me. I mean, we don't know the full details of this individual so far. I mean, we got the details with regard to the one at the weekend, but reports are stating that they do suspect it is a terror-related attack. So we'll have to wait out for further information with regard to who the individual was and what his motives were, and if he's got a background or whatever, if he's anything like the individual from, of course, the weekend in Mulhouse, which was confirmed as a terror-related attack. But again, you're putting the 2 and 2 together. Yet another attack on police officers, 1 knife in each hand, and targeting the police. Again, probably at this moment in time, you would probably suspect it, and that's what reports are suspecting at this moment in time. But as stated, guys, it is a breaking news story. We cannot confirm whether it is terror-related just yet, only suspected at this moment in time. Guys, let's get your reaction on this one down there in the comment section below of the breaking news coming outside of Paris. Richard Cooper says, I said years ago this was a Trojan horse and people laughed at me. Complacency is our enemy. Well, again, if it is confirmed as terror-related a little bit later on today, then France have got a huge issue. They have got a massive issue. I remember reporting on the incident that occurred, or the attack, should I say, sorry, I keep saying incident, the attack that happened in Mulhouse over the weekend. I reported that story on 2C TV. That individual was on the terror watch list. That guy was living amongst them when he was already on the terror watch list. And quite frankly, nothing was done about that individual. And then all of a sudden, he carries out a heinous attack, which leaves 1 person dead, of course, in the one at the weekend. So again, if this is the case again, that this guy is known to authorities, then France have got a massive problem on their hands. But again, these little attacks, these police officers being attacked, there was an individual in Germany got stabbed by a Syrian. outside, of course, a Jewish memorial in Germany over the weekend as well. But there's just loads of these. There's about 3 or 4 of these attacks happening a week across Europe. Lone men cutting around with a knife or a car, just trying to cause absolute mayhem and inflict pain on other individuals. So yeah, Europe has a problem, and I always keep harping back to what J.D. Vance said, of course, to those European leaders, but they quickly shot him down and said that that wasn't the case, that he's talking nonsense and all of these kind of things. And we're always going to be harping back to it every single time. But my God, Europe has got a serious problem at this moment in time. We've got a donation from Nina. What's new? This will never stop until our government send them back where they came from. Again, yeah, 1,000%. Well, look, listen, in terms of the asylum seekers, that a lot of the incidents, now just to confirm for those of you just tuning in, this one hasn't been confirmed as terror related yet, just suspected at this moment in time. So I need to get my wording correct, as it's very important. But the previous attacks, of course, the one in Mulhouse, the one in Munich, the incident in Berlin, the one in Villach in Austria, were all carried out by Islamists. And they weren't, of course, people from native to the country. Some of them were asylum seekers. Some of them had been in the country. Some of them have been on terror watch lists. But you're absolutely right. This will never stop until our governments do something about it. It needs to be stopped. And whether that's, I mean, the situation in Germany, I quite frankly couldn't believe what the new leader had said straight after he had been elected, or the CDU, of course, winning the German election. They were stating that they were going to be closing borders or proposing to close borders. But 24 hours later, after being elected by the German people, he then said that we're not going to be closing the German borders. Nobody wants that. So they've seen the attacks that happened in their country over the last, 2-3 weeks, especially the last couple of months with regard to the Christmas market as well. He's then got into power and then U-turned completely on what he was initially saying, which was quite frankly a disgrace. We've seen Keir Starmer, of course, break manifesto pledges pretty quickly, but my goodness me, the new German Chancellor did it incredibly quick. 24 hours later said that he's not going to be closing the German borders. So it looks like Germany is still not going to be getting the change that they wanted. But my goodness me, this is a massive problem. And I don't know how to, well, I'm not paid to necessarily correct it, but there's certain ideas that you can have in place to try and stop this. There needs to be a serious vetting procedure with regard to these individuals that are coming in as asylum seekers. There has to be a serious vetting period, because you're just going to see a rise of these attacks on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week. We're seeing it on a week-to-week basis. We're seeing it 3 times, 4 times a week. We're reporting it to you all here on this channel. At the moment, it's not Britain, but mainland Europe, continental Europe, where there's not really, we've got the little channel in the way that separates us away from this a little bit. But I mean, the boats still come on over quite a lot at vast amounts. However, in mainland Europe, it's all connected. And quite frankly, it's freaking scary when they don't have their borders secure like this. And France have had a really rough time of these sort of attacks that happen. I mean, if you go to Paris, the place is a dump. The place is a state. And quite, I was walking. I decided one day when I was in Paris, must have been about 5-6 years ago. I used to love Paris, but I walked from my hotel one day, 45 minutes, and wanted to walk to the train station. The place is a dump. The place is, in terms of central Paris. I'm not talking about the Arc de Triomphe or the Eiffel Tower, but the other areas that are inside central Paris. It's an absolute shit pit. It's absolutely scary. But France have had a massive history of this sorts of stuff, and they've got individuals like the guy at the weekend on the terrorism watch list that they knew about, and then he carried out an attack and killed one individual at the weekend. They need to get a grip of it very quickly. And again, another attack on police officers here this morning, which quite frankly is diabolical and shocking, and this just cannot be happening in the country of France. It can't be happening across Europe in general, but again, a second one here in France. Someone said, we need Trump to come and deport them all. Well, we need a leader like Trump, but you're looking at the way our leader is at the moment. He's almost sort of refuting what Donald Trump is all about. And our leaders refuting what Donald Trump is about and refuting his ideologies, his ideas and stuff like this. I mean, you just had to see the European leaders' reaction to when J.D. Vance spoke about this. He said that this is going to keep on happening. And I think since that speech, but bearing in mind was what? A week and a half ago, there's been the attack in Villach. There's been the attack, of course, in Munich. There's been the attack in France on the police officers in Mulhouse over the weekend. There's been this Syrian that, of course, went to slit a Spanish tourist's throat in Berlin. And then again, if this one's confirmed to be terror-related, which is being suspected to do so at this moment in time, then there's that. There's 5 already in the space of, a week and a half since J.D. Vance spoke to those European leaders. Steel Curtain says, we here in Germany are effed. You are. I couldn't quite believe that your new chancellor just came out and said that straight away 24 hours after winning an election. How can he say something like that? How can he just come out and say something like that? We don't want to close our borders. Like, what? Didn't he make pledges as such in the election? Sorry, I've been following it loosely in Germany, but CDU certainly won by a decent amount. AfD, of course, coming second, but looking at what they were doing, I think the vast majority of the German people did want secure borders. And again, he just came out and said, yeah, we're not doing anything about it, completely U-turning, especially with what's recently been going on in Germany. France is very close as well to Germany. It's a massive problem. DJT says, I love my country, but I'm ashamed of our politicians, judges and police forces. They have let us down, and let's not talk about our weak king. We have to do something before it's too late. Well, within the United Kingdom, we've got our fair share of problems, huge amounts of problems in this country. The sheer volume of asylum seekers coming over in boats and us housing them in hotels at the taxpayer's expense is quite frankly a disgrace, and that doesn't show any signs of slowing down. You need to. It's only a matter of time until we start to see some incidents like this start to happen on our streets. Again, we've been fairly lucky. I mean, it shouldn't be happening anyway, so I shouldn't call it luck. But we've been, pretty okay that nothing has been going on really in terms of those related attacks since Axel in the Southport killings. But again, it's only a matter of time until you invite all of these unchecked illegal migrants into your country. And we've got 600? We've got loads of them coming in weekly. So it's only a matter of time till something heinous and something big happens within the United Kingdom. So we would need to be prepared for that and try and make sure that doesn't happen. Shocking. But I want to try and keep this on France, guys. This is another attack on police officers in the space of less than a half a week, 4 or 5 days. Again, we reported to you in Mulhouse, of course, over the weekend that one guy had been killed in a terror-related attack. Macron, of course, confirmed it was an Islamist attack. Again, we haven't got the details just yet with regard to this one, but we'll keep you up to date on this as the time goes on. But regardless of who the person that carried out this attack, the French police are not safe at this moment in time. And it's quite frankly scary for the French people and the French police just doing their job. I think since in 2023, 36 people have died as a result of French police taking action. And they should be, of course. Hopefully nothing comes of this. Absolutely not. It's 1,000% self-defense. They were attacked with individuals at knives. So hopefully these police don't get run through the courts. Hopefully that does not happen. Hopefully the French look after these police officers in this moment in time. And actually no further questions happen to these police officers because they were attacked by a lunatic with a knife in each hand. And quick reaction from these French police officers that have obviously stopped this individual and killed him. Again, he was tried to be resuscitated at the scene, but later died, for those of you just tuning in. Norton says French police are armed and still targeted. Yeah, I don't know what it is with this new craze in France with attacking the police officers. I'm not too sure what's going on. Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. I think there was an incident that happened 3 months ago as well, but there was, of course, the one over the weekend. It seems to be a trend at this moment in time to attack police officers. So I don't know what the bigger picture is. I don't know why the police officers are constantly getting attacked by these lunatics. And maybe someone can enlighten me, who's French possibly, as to why it's always the police officers getting attacked by these lunatics with knives. Because I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe that's who they're going after, or maybe there's a bigger picture as to why they're going after these French police officers. Jack Flash says it's not just the boats, smoke and mirrors, it's the flights that are the problem. I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at it, but boats are a massive problem as well. We haven't got secure borders at this moment in time. And you've got a Labour MP, 2 days ago, talking about it, making it an easier access for refugees to get British citizenship straight away. Like, you know, you've got these people within our parliament with majority of the seats talking about this sort of nonsense in the Houses of Commons, you know, at the taxpayers' expenses. Why does it have to be an easier route for refugees to get citizenship? You know, we're a tiny little island, right? I'm pro-migration. Again, a lot of people are going to attack me here. I'm actually pro-migration. I think you're allowed to, you know, if you have something to offer a country, I like the idea where if you want to get yourself and move to, I don't know, another country. I'm talking for yourselves, if you guys in the chat. You go and want to go work in South Africa, say, or you want to go work in Australia or something like that, go to America. I'm pro-migration, you know, I don't think you should be stuck to the place that you're born, absolutely not. But again, you have to offer something to people's societies. You know, you can't just be going there looking for free handouts and all of these kind of things. You know, you got to go there with something to prove. You know, if I'm going to, say, for instance, Dubai, right? I'm going to Dubai, an Islamic country. I'm going to be proving myself to the people of Dubai. I'm going to be obeying their rules of their country, you know, whether that be, you know, I don't necessarily know the rules, but drinking on the streets or something like this. I'm not going to be acting reckless and doing these kind of things. That's against the law. I'm also not going to be relying on their government. I'm going to be going there with something to prove, to really show that I belong there and want to fit in with the country. So again, I'm not anti-migration. I think people should be able to move around, but I'm certainly against illegal immigration massively, and I'm also against the sheer volume of just anybody and everybody just coming into a country. You have to have something to give to the society and contribute to the society, whilst also respecting their cultural values and the cultural standards of their country. I think that's very, very important, certainly within Europe. Glenn Mattison says our country is full up. Yeah, I mean, again, for those people, if you want to talk like that, we should need to get rid of all the illegals that are currently sat here. I'm talking the illegal immigrants stuck here. There's loads. Get them out, mass deportations, and then you can open the door for potentially, people that actually have something to offer society and offer something to this country. It's a possibility of doing so. But yeah, 1,000%, it's a huge problem. Someone said 5 years in the USA before you get benefits. I read that. I know that today. I mean, America have a massive, a really strict policy. I feel like they've always have done. But then again, they've had a massive problem with illegal immigration from the sort of Mexicans coming up, the Central Americans coming up from the borders. But that's been put to a stop now. But yeah, to get into America, you really do need to prove yourself. You don't have an indefinite right to remain. Now, ours is pretty laughable on how quickly you can get a British passport. And the way that the Tories have put it across is that they want to do 10 years within the country. I think makes sense. It makes sense. You need to have a stricter vetting period for individuals coming into the country. 1,000%. For those people that want to bring money into the country and really want to be a pillar to the community, you could see what Donald Trump's just offered today. A gold card. They've just offered a new gold card in the United States where rich individuals can buy a gold card for $5 million, become an immediate citizen of the United States, and get a lot of benefits for doing so. But that's the right way to go about migration. The amount of money that's going to bring into the USA in general, but also bring the right individuals into a country. That's what you want. You don't want any old sod coming in. That shouldn't how it be. You need to be selective. These people are coming into your society and representing your country. You need to be, picky with who you want. So I just wanted to make that clear. I am not anti-migration. I'm pro-migration, but certainly anti-illegal immigration and anti just picking up any old sod off the street and just bringing them into the country that don't want to adapt. I'm certainly massive and really passionate about that subject, that you shouldn't be able to just rock up and come in and just stay in for the rest of the days and think like you can do nothing. I hate that. I hate that attitude. Kevin says, it's happening here in the north of Ireland recently. The problem for the illegal economic migrants is that we've got a community restorative justice and there's no mercy dealing with them. Yeah, Ireland is in a bad state itself. But I've always not really understood, well, to be fair with Ireland, it's always a bit of a... I'm seeing a lot of Irish people sort of revolt. But again, this may be my ignorance as an English person, of course. I always look at Ireland and I look at the way that their society is, and I've actually learned recently by reporting on stories, the vast amount of Irish people are fed up with this level of illegal immigration coming into their countries and all of these kind of things. But the way the media kind of paints you, whether that be through Celtic Football Club, I know it's not I know it's not an Irish football club, but they kind of represent Ireland on the big scale of things. They, waving the Palestine flags and all of these kind of things. It suggests or kind of gives a message to the world that almost Irish people are pro, refugee, illegal immigration. They should all be coming into Ireland and all of these kind of things. But recently, over the last few months, certainly doing this channel and reporting on incidents that happen in Ireland, I'm starting to see the vast majority of Irish people do not relate with that sort of crowd of people and actually do want stronger borders and do want their country back, quite frankly. Irish people, Ireland's a mess as it is at this moment in time as well. So yeah. Jojo says they should be able to read and write English, speak English. I mean, that's obviously something that needs to be implemented straight away. Of course, you do need to be able to do that if you're coming into a country. That's 1,000%. That's one of the main things. You should be doing an English test. But yeah, but guys, for those of you just tuning in, I know I've been live for quite a while. I'm just going to give you an update for those of you just tuning in, so I'm not repeating myself for the guys that have been on here for the whole time. Essentially, a knifeman has been shot dead after he attempted to attack two police officers 7 miles out of the city centre of Paris. Again, we don't know currently. It's not been confirmed as terror-related. However, the media are reporting it as a suspected terror attack, and more information will follow a little bit later on today. But just to confirm, no one has been killed apart from the perpetrator. Police managed to shoot the individual, the attacker, dead at the scene. And again, more information will follow. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all later. Take care.